In this podcast episode, Madonna shares candid reflections on her spiritual journey and its profound influence on her life. Emphasizing that without spirituality, life's events may seem random and hollow, she believes every challenge carries a lesson meant for personal growth. For Madonna, spirituality is not simply a belief system, but an active, internal way of living, an ongoing practice of reflection and consciousness that fosters peace beyond external accomplishments or validations. She asserts that a spiritual life anchors her through turbulent times, preventing her from falling into victimhood despite a history marked by significant adversity. Unlike common misconceptions that spirituality conflicts with success, Madonna firmly states that it is essential for true success, not only professionally, but in relationships, parenting, and personal fulfillment. She explains that spirituality cultivates radical acceptance, the understanding that all experiences, including suffering, are meant to occur for a greater purpose. This spiritual grounding is what, in her eyes, sustains her sanity and ability to persevere where many peers have faltered. Madonna's spiritual path is deeply intertwined with her long-standing study of Kabbalah, a tradition she encountered over 2 decades ago. She highlights the importance of disciplined study as a ritual that replenishes her soul and mind, providing a framework to interpret life's complexities beyond surface appearances. The intellectual rigor and openness of Kabbalah resonated with her, contrasting with her earlier religious experiences, where questions were discouraged and certainties imposed. Her teacher, Eitan Yardeni, elaborates on Kabbalah's ancient roots and its purpose to unlock the hidden wisdom of life, the universe, and the soul's journey through challenges. Both Madonna and Eitan stress that Kabbalah invites questioning and personal transformation, not blind faith. This centering through study offers Madonna a sanctuary of anonymity and authenticity, allowing her to be both a student and a seeker apart from her public persona. Motherhood marks a pivotal chapter in Madonna's spiritual awakening. Initially apprehensive due to childhood associations of motherhood with sacrifice and loss, having lost her own mother early, Madonna describes how becoming a mother compelled her to confront her spiritual ignorance and fears. The responsibility of raising another human being ignited questions about the legacy she wished to impart and the sort of person she wanted to embody. This transformation applied pressure, but also purpose, shaping her spiritual practices more deeply. She candidly admits that motherhood has challenged her to release control and expectations, fostering humility and acceptance, skills necessary for parenting and personal evolution. Kabbalah's teachings about overcoming attachment and desire became practical guides in navigating the unpredictability of family life, illustrating how spiritual discipline meets everyday realities. Madonna's story includes harrowing experiences such as assault, robbery, and personal losses, moments that could have crushed her spirit. Instead, she attributes her resilience to her cultivated spiritual understanding. She shares how initial reactions of victimhood and anger gradually gave way to a realization that suffering is not punishment, but a karmic challenge designed to trigger growth. Eitan Yardeni complements this by explaining that the soul's purpose involves confronting intrinsic negative forces, the internal oppositions that test and refine the individual. Together, they discuss concepts like radical acceptance and certainty beyond logic, spiritual tools that help Madonna endure physical and emotional trials, including a near-death experience with sepsis. These principles underscore how embracing adversity, rather than fleeing it, is integral to deep transformation. Madonna illustrates how her spiritual path directly influenced her creative process. She describes creativity as a channeling of light, not an act of mere human ownership or ego. Manifestation, as she practices it, is a sacred partnership with the universe or divine source. This viewpoint preserves humility while cultivating openness to visionary inspiration. The energy of creation, Madonna explains, transcends logic and prediction. It is spontaneous and magical. This perspective helped her sustain a prolific artistic career grounded in meaning rather than fleeting fame or fortune. Her teacher echoes this by emphasizing the importance of persistence, continuous study, and recognizing creativity's spiritual origin rather than falling prey to ego-driven self-attachment that often derails gifted individuals. The conversation touches on socio-cultural dynamics affecting spiritual life in modern times. They reference the third space theory, noting how traditional communal spaces connected to spirituality or reflection have diminished, leaving many with only work and home environments and a virtual screen in between. This absence of a dedicated spiritual and reflective arena leads to disconnection from inner life. Madonna interprets this modern fragmentation as a form of imprisonment. Physical spaces are replaced by virtual realities, often devoid of true consciousness. Cultivating a spiritual practice thus becomes crucial as a third space, where introspection, pause, and alignment with purpose can occur. This further validates her insistence that ritual and disciplined internal focus are necessary antidotes to the chaos and distraction of contemporary life. Forgiveness emerges as a particularly profound theme. Madonna talks about her personal journey in forgiving even those closest to her, including her brother, highlighting the heavy emotional cost of grudges and resentment. The decision to forgive was neither immediate nor easy, but it was ultimately liberating, a shift that lightened her spiritual and emotional burden. They explore forgiveness not only as a gift to others, but as essential self-healing. Forgiveness frees the soul from poison and bondage, enabling personal growth and peace. Madonna's reflections underscore forgiveness as a practical necessity for anyone who wants to transcend victimhood and bitterness, recognizing that clinging to anger only perpetuates suffering. An insightful distinction is drawn between accountability and self-blame. Madonna explains that genuine self-reflection, owning one's choices and learning from mistakes, is a stepping stone to growth. However, wallowing in guilt or shame, dominated by ego's harsh judgments, stagnates progress. This spiritual maturity requires forgiving oneself as much as forgiving others. The interplay between humility and responsibility involves swallowing pride and silencing the ego's destructive chatter. Regular study and spiritual practice help maintain this balance by reorienting awareness away from ego-driven narratives toward higher consciousness. Madonna demystifies the popular concept of manifestation, explaining it as a conscious collaboration with the universe rather than a purely transactional or ego-centered endeavor. She highlights that manifesting becomes hollow if disconnected from gratitude, awareness that one is a vessel rather than an owner of outcomes. The focus shifts from pursuing selfish desires to manifesting for the sake of sharing and contributing to collective good. Madonna warns against attempts to control or replicate previous successes mechanically, advocating instead for openness to unexpected inspirations and the humility to honor the source beyond oneself. The spiritual challenge of parenting, the tension between guiding and releasing, is another focal point. Madonna confesses her ongoing struggle with letting her children follow their own authentic paths without projecting expectations or exercising excessive control. She learns through both spiritual teachings and lived experience that children's unique journeys must be respected. This recognition is painful yet essential, forcing constant reassessment of attachment, desires, and fears. The equilibrium between love, discipline, and freedom reflects the larger spiritual process of surrendering egoic controls while nurturing growth, both for a parent and child. Eitan Yardeni elaborates on a foundational Kabbalistic principle. The presence of an internal opposing force is a divine gift that catalyzes spiritual evolution. Without struggles or negative challenges, growth and appreciation of the light are impossible. This opponent within is not merely a source of suffering, but a necessary element, allowing humans to become co-creators with the divine. The metaphor of a goalie in soccer illustrates this well. Without resistance, the game holds no meaning or purpose. Extending this idea, life's hurdles serve as purification processes, tikkun, unique to each individual, designed to awaken light and true purpose within the soul. Finally, both Madonna and Eitan articulate their shared understanding of soul purpose as the continuous revelation of light in the world through acts of sharing, creativity, and love. Madonna describes her ambition not as renunciation, but as embracing all of life's joys and challenges, anchored by profound service to others. Her commitment to this purpose shapes every facet of her existence. Artist, mother, friend, and leader, all unified by the desire for spiritual elevation and conscious giving. Eitan reminds listeners that the journey is ongoing, always evolving and rooted in trust beyond logic and certainty that the soul's path is guided toward ultimate fulfillment.